Greetings, cyber citizens. Cali Joe from North Carolina. Black History Month is here again. North Carolina Governor Cooper has taken steps to improve the lives of prisoners in the Black and Brown Reentry Services. On January 29th, speaking about the importance of funding services for health care and housing for the formerly incarcerated. Before we begin our social and criminal justice networking and solutions, my goal is to address race and gender in the entertainment industry in the coming weeks. I feel you know by now Cali Joe supports the need for equality in sports media representation. Thank you, Sue Bird, and Chloe Kim. I do agree there is an obvious disparity in gender. Males watching male sports over female sports. I've barely seen any women's college basketball this season. However, what about in areas of broadcast media production of women of color working as production assistants on music videos, commercials, television, or film? These are entry-level positions. Look not at the rising level of black women on screen, but behind the camera. Let's also have a logical discussion. Does Congress need a raise? Should a raise be given for all of political
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
and personal issues while ignoring the public's welfare and wellness? Months ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke up about how she isn't paid enough. This was met by ridicule and scoffing. So that's what that feels like. However, weeks ago, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as AOC, spoke up about Congress needing a raise. I do so love the squad, Team Ian Omar. AOC's statement was equally supported by North Carolina Congressman Patrick Henry and Ted Budd. Perhaps we can consider a negotiation, a quid pro quo, a fair deal between the people and Congress. Haven't we had success in raising pay for minimum wage and other labor standards? Perhaps we can discuss this with Jen Psaki of the MSNBC, Reed Out, Bill Maher, and Charlamagne Tha God, among others. Fair legislation, landmark ideas, a new meaning of tough on crime for delivery, selling, or purchasing stolen or black market guns without reporting of such incidents, with a lifetime registry for both nonviolent and violent black market gun offenses. This should reduce sales to illegals and ex-felons or anyone who wants to unlawfully act behind the scenes. The second area of legislation should be given ideas and upheld in the federal and state with a benefit package for states that employ a fair enactment for prisoners, prison labor wage, and prison reinvestment. I stand to present an important issue as to why making nothing or up to $1 a day is prejudicial. For those without family or community support and are innocent or unlawfully convicted, a prison labor job at less than $1 a day makes it impossible to hire a lawyer. It makes it impossible to pay court fees or to secure other litigation expenses, and in the case of biased pro se inmates, court access unconstitutional under the 13th Amendment of involuntary servitude in the context of low pay when it comes to court access to challenge a conviction. 13th Amendment language regarding duly convicted right is the right for appeal. And the inability to seek the appeal because lack of funding is involuntary servitude and inhumane. My experience in North Carolina has shown me the bias and pay-to-play system with the denial of access to challenge an unlawful conviction, where only if you hire an NC State Bar attorney will a prisoner be granted a proper review. I have wasted countless hours and incurred thousands of dollars in court fees having to challenge the state's unlawful court system and prison system in disrupting legal actions. And had I been paid a fair prison labor wage, I could have hired an attorney and not have had such bias against me. A percentage of every dollar earned should go towards restitution, other debts, reentry services and expenses, education, and a retainer for counsel, whether for unlawful conviction or parole hearings. At this point, I will stop and encourage the citizens to determine the important ideas, but I would encourage a need to codify AI fake porn or revenge porn against celebrities and ordinary citizens, along with any images of minors and focus not on the intent, but of the actual mens rea, thinking in the mind as to not of the facts. It's a computer-generated fake image because the creator is pursuing commerce for the image and likeness, for the use of enjoyment and other gratification. Forgive the repugnance. Sometimes some of the law can be a little bit odd. Let's work towards public safety and health, areas of interest in legislation. This is how government works, the will of the people. As an example to looking at what Kim Kardashian and others did in the First Step Act, let's check that out. I want to address a matter spoken of by California Democrats about being soft on crime, with a recent carjacking where the thief removed a child from the car on the streets of Oakland. It's never been about being soft on crime or tough on crime. It's about lawful versus unlawful convictions and the rehabilitation that comes thereafter. We should focus on that area. In other news, it appears Joe Exotic has taken steps to petition Kim Kardashian to help him get out of prison for alleged actual innocence. Will some of these set up Joe Exotic a GoFundMe page so he can retain counsel and perhaps encourage him to go to the prison law library to learn something? That's important to help yourself out once in a while. While we're doing that, will someone please petition for me, Cali Joe, to be my prison sentence to be transferred to Antarctica due to global warming? I love the cold and penguins, orca and polar bears, just not all at the same time. That would be bad for the penguins. Who doesn't love penguins? I feel like important legitimate use of Kim's time would be to ensure equality on her biopic of Liz Taylor by ensuring production assistance and equality with women of color. At the same time, I would encourage to network with Kim Kardashian for creating a citizen town hall between her, Elon Musk, and Zuckerberg to discuss topics of what areas of change should be worked on to agree with the race for Congress or if there should be one. The best minds of our era, heck, even Kim has a 3D mold of her brain on her office. She gave us an online tour. Dude, that is hot. As for other areas of interest, speaking of Kim's activity, prior to the conflict in Israel, I did a podcast.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Poop emoji. In Azerbaijan, in the border dispute. I've not seen any news on this. Perhaps we can refocus in the media for an update. As for Cali Joe legal battles updates, I went to court the other day for the COVID-19 retaliation, and the state's attorney tried to paint a different story of how I punched a window and hurt my hand. Too bad for him, that argument is moot, and he failed to preserve it prior to and during summary judgment. And the truth is, they continue to mislead the information in the record. They're quite good at misleading people. The truth is, the trial is upcoming, and I will again state that I have been written up over 30 times for communicating threats to staff. The threat is I intend to seek legal action. That is not an offense in policy. The smoking gun for misinformation in record I intend to use is how they misled, and I have in my mental health record from Discovery, where they claim I quit mental health for nearly 2 years to cover the fact that they had to hide a record of mental health worker who did wrong with his misconduct that led to a prisoner's death in 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, all I can say at the end of the day is this is Cali Joe, and I only wish for a better day for everybody. Give me one more second. I apologize. It's live. Cali Joe would also like to talk about. One more second. I apologize. I am devoted to the protection of individuals with mental health trauma or mental health illness without oppressing people's freedom of speech. However, without prejudice to any party, many co-parenting and mental health issues are ongoing. I wish to address a defense for Travis Barker, drummer of Blink-182, hubby to Kourtney Kardashian. In 2008, Travis Barker was injured in an airplane crash and it required treatment at a burn center. As it was traumatizing, his former baby mama, Shannon Oakler, was on the podcast A Dumb Blonde podcast, stated her pain from having went onto Travis's social media website, and it was in the aftermath of the crash while he was still traumatized and seeking treatment at a burn center. she found negative opinions of her. The negative opinions apparently rented space in her head, and she clapped back 16 years ago. Women have impeccable memories. She alleges alienation of affections because Travis is devoted to his children, and I say congratulations on being a loving father. Guys, I was once scolded by an ex-girlfriend because I joked that I was going to buy an electrified chastity belt for my daughter. Wouldn't really do that. But my ex defended that electricity just doesn't belong in certain parts of a lady, but if I intended to prevent my daughter from learning from her mistakes by limiting her social development, an old-fashioned lung would be proper. You know, they don't make those anymore, but I do believe Travis Barker knows Iron Maiden. Co-parenting, when dealing with a parent with mental health issues, it's important to create a family goal to support children and teach about not allowing mental health to be a scapegoat for bad behavior or criminal activity, while avoiding alienating or demonizing. Lastly, let's network with Travis Barker to do a story on his 2008 airplane crash and his recovery, along with stories on black and brown women in the entertainment industry as production assistants. This is Cali Joe, TMZ. Are you listening?